People are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. The hiring process can be slow and overwhelming. Simplify hiring with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. With over 350 million global monthly visitors according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. That's Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Terms and conditions apply.
Good evening. Welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. And now, for your host, Kimberly McLemore.
All right, good evening, and welcome to WSBI, your Resource for Success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring entrepreneurs and women-owned businesses from across the country. I am your host, Kimberly McLemore. Welcome to another night of sharing. With us, we have a special guest tonight, Mr. Ash Shukla, founder and owner of Financial Chakras. Ash came from India in 1989 with $20 and spoke no English. He is an Amazon best-selling author of the book Sell Like Crazy, and he has a new book called Financial Chakras. He is a congressional recognized small business speaker. He has helped over 2,000 business owners, specializing in helping small businesses go from where they are to where they want to be by providing easy-to-follow solutions with his proven step-by-step process. He is creating a movement to help bridge the gap between holistic and practical business community. His goal is to make an impact in over 10 million lives. He is a father, a humble servant, and a philanthropist. So now, welcome to my platform, Mr. Ash Shukla. Hey, Ash, how are you?
Hey there, how are you doing?
I am good. I'm so excited to have you on the show tonight because we are definitely in need of some great information in the small business world and some holistic healing in a lot of different ways. So I'm excited about you tonight.
Thank you so much, and I'm excited about being here. Absolutely, I can't wait to add some nuggets and really help people out today.
Well, all right. So, most people don't know. I mean, I always talk to my clients or my guests, before I do a show, and, we had a great conversation before we came on. So we're going to take that conversation and roll it right over, now, because there's so much that needs to be spoken about with all the things we have going on in our world today. But before we get into that, I would really love for you to be able to tell my listeners just a little bit about who Ash Shukla is and share some more information about you besides what I've already read.
Yeah. Hey guys, this is Ash. Just want to, reach out. Everybody, just want to say thank you so much, first of all, for listening. I really appreciate you guys, and just so you get to know me a little bit more, I know that many of you are, going through a lot right now, and I can understand completely because, I know what it's like to be in a place where you are completely uncertain, and that's where I was in 1989, totally uncertain, didn't know what I was doing. I was going on sales calls in 1994 when I got started in business. I was going on sales calls and I was not bad. I was pathetic. And eventually I figured it out. And all I'll say to you guys is that, look, there is in the oldest text of the called Vedas. And back in the day, there was a dance, and the dance that this particular Lord did, Lord Shiva, called Tandava. And in this dance, it's a graceful dance of destruction and recreation. And my friend, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, I am firm believer that when there is destruction, there is absolutely creation coming along the way. Like many of you are learning new techniques, new ways to communicate online, communicate over the phone, and communicate over Zoom. So my friends, I'm Ash Shukla. I'm a firm believer in infinite possibilities, but more importantly, I believe in you. And I just want to let you know that I love you.
Oh, right. Oh, that's beautiful. Awesome way to start the show. And, what you just said is definitely surreal. I mean, we are going through the unnormal, the abnormal, should I say, the things that we're not used to having to be able to control. We're used to be able to say, hey, I'm coming home and I'm going to go out and I'm going to enjoy my evening with my friends, or I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. Now we are somewhat within prison within our own homes. So it's one of those situations where we have to learn how to rethink, like you said, utilize technology that we have. We're talking more than probably we have ever talked to each other in a way that we knew we could, but we just didn't because we had options. So we don't have as many options today. But being in the small business world, I guess, let's talk a little bit about how it's been affecting you and how you've working yourself out into this situation that we're in, the way with the COVID-19 going on, and then how you were helping others along the way.
So the way I believe, Kimberly, is that when you are building a business, right? I think that many times business owners, entrepreneurs, when they're building businesses, it is imperative to know to have multiple streams of revenues. If you're not a business owner and you're a stay-home mom, or you are working at a job, it is so crucial to have multiple streams of revenues, because it is so in economies like this, when things like this happen, these are the unknowns that you have to be prepared for. So one of the things that I am doing is, obviously I'm being compassionate and I'm being careful. Like, I recently shared a video on my business page, on my Ash Shukla business page. My grandfather passed away 3 years ago, and that's who I'm dedicating or tributing my work for Financial Chakras to. And basically, in that post that I did, it is imperative that you communicate in a way that makes sense to the current happenings that's happening right now. See, there is no better time than right now that people have realized that all we have is each other, and all we have is our friendships, and all we have is our relatives, right? And all you have is you as a human being. And it is so crucial. I believe that yes, you might be struggling, and I can't say that a business is absolutely booming, but it is good for me. The business has been good because I have securitized my multiple streams of revenue and things like that. So one of the things I would encourage you to do is be compassionate, be mindful as to what you're communicating, how you're communicating. And if you do it the right way during these times, what I'm finding, Kimberly, is when I do it the right way, there's more engagement. Like, I have this post that I did, Kimberly, just recently. I'm not talking like literally 2-3 days ago, where I basically stated, I put something in the nature of, the saddest part about COVID-19 is that taking people's lives. But what is even sadder is that taking elder generation, and it's unforgiving to them the most. And as the elders pass away, I believe that we are losing our wisdom. Wisdom from the past makes the future better. And so when you share something like this, right? And I said I want to take this time to say namaste to elders, meaning I wanted to give my respect to elders, who have passed away, who are here and have passed away. And here's my grandfather's story, and where he spoke at one of my events. And when you do things like that and really give back to the community, I'm finding that it is so much more resonating. I have 22,000 people who like that post.
Wow.
Literally. So when you see stuff like that, I would say that in today's environment, the way I'm handling it, Kimberly, is I'm handling it with ton of compassion, ton of love, ton of empathy, really being understanding. It is so crucial in today's world, my friends, and just make sure you pass on love. That's so crucial. that we all do that in these times, basically,
Right.
So that's where I'm finding it to be true.
Well, and
People are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. The hiring process can be slow and overwhelming. Simplify hiring with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. With over 350 million global monthly visitors according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. That's Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're a facilities manager at a university, you know students rely on the cafeteria for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the occasional late-night snack. So when a dishwasher breaks down and dirty plates pile up, the mess hall can turn messy in the blink of an eye. Enter Grainger. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast delivery, the product you need now is never far away. So you can turn that dishwasher back into a lean, clean washing machine. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
you're absolutely right. The one things that, I'm listening to you talk about, for those who are in business or aren't in business, you need to have other streams of income coming, and you need to be prepared. And, because we don't know when something is going to happen to us. And obviously nobody could have ever wrote this down and said, hey, this is coming, get prepared. We could have never seen this coming several months ago. And this, like, all of a sudden you woke up one day and it's here. And, people aren't prepared. When the information came out, you hear about, people rushing to the grocery store, and you can't even, I've never heard of, you couldn't even buy toilet paper, and you can't buy, it's just this frenzy of everything going on around us. And then it comes the reality of, how am I going to survive? How am I going to feed my children and my family? There's friends out here who are starving. And I've seen, today, it kind of threw me back a couple places where they were talking about people who are already homeless. How are they surviving? They were showing, they're showing people out, they made little 6-foot sections out on the street for people to lay down. And I was just like floored. I could not believe what I was reading and seeing, on the streets that people are dealing with every day. And then, here we, as are having a better life, complain sometimes about, well, I can't go out here and I can't do this, but there are so many people right now who are going through 10 times more of the issues that they're having. And a big part of our issues is that it's not because we don't have it, it's because a lot of times because we're not prepared. And so when you're talking about compassion and realizing that, we need to have more gratitude, and be more compassionate and love each other and get everybody through this. And at this point, people are so used to loving close. It's about loving from afar and realizing that you are going to be okay, but we have to be supportive of each other. And you're right. The COVID-19 piece is very difficult to see, that we're losing all of our loved ones in a way that we never would have thought you could lose them. Even though we know we have no control over our lives, at the same token, it's hard to swallow. So, you dedicating your grant to your grandfather, the things that you've learned from him and all the stuff that, you've built. And if it wasn't for him, you probably wouldn't be where you're at today, because you understand what it means to come from literally nothing into something, coming from India with $20 in your pocket. That has definitely had to be one of the scariest moments of your life. And then here you are today, teaching people how to be humble, but also teaching them how to get to where they want to be in life, when it comes to small business. So I would like to focus a little more on talking about your business and the steps that you provide and with your clients, and how you help them get to where they're at, to where they really want to be.
Absolutely, and I'm happy to talk about that and provide that for sure. So,
Okay.
those of you who are here, I want to let you know that, after in terms of business is concerned and your life is concerned, what I have found is what I learned from my grandfather. And he told me a long time ago that make sure you master one thing, whatever that one thing is. And what he told me back in the day when I was really young at that time, I was in my teens and I was still trying to figure things out and what have you. And he's like, do one thing at a time. And that's what his wisdom was, is do one thing at a time and do it really well. And so, when I was getting started, I got into the financial field. I was in college studying actually computer science, ran into financial services in 1994, and I wasn't bad at it. I was really pathetic. I couldn't close any deals. It took me like 6 years to figure it out. It was really, really bad. But what I found over time is that, what I found is if you I stuck to it, and I figured out a way to make 300% and 400% higher transactions than most industry average, Kimberly. And what I found is that as I was going through this, I had to learn how to be patient. I had to learn to find my own flow, during this process. And what I have found is that over time, as we are going through this jungle of life, right, or the ocean of life, or whatever you want to call it, as we are going through it, there are a lot of currents, and there is a lot of zigzags we have to do. So it depends on, no matter who you are, just know that zigzags are going to be, but find your path is the beginning. Like, find who you are and find your path. It's a so important piece to begin your journey, so that way you can stay on it. Because see, one of my dreams when I came here was to do something great. With my parents, when we came here, Kimberly, so we sold everything. My dad literally sold everything. He had no money to his name when we walked in here. When we flew from India, we took our tickets and we were in the plane. My dad literally had no money back home, like nothing left. My grandfather was, we were well-to-do overall as a family, but as far as in a dime to our name, we had nothing. We lived in a apartment or what we call in India is a condominium kind of a situation, and it was a government condominium, offered condominium, because that's what my dad used to work in a government job, and we were like a lower middle income family. So when we came over here, we had nothing. So one of the things I learned, important lessons over time, that one of the things that even me and my grandfather talked about was, we want to make sure that you burn your bridges, because many times people hang on to things too long, and it's important to literally learn the lesson that when you're moving on to your next, whatever that is, it's something that you're doing, you're not liking, you're not loving it, you're just hating it. It's time to do something that you absolutely love and have that calling and follow that path, and make sure you stay steadfast. Don't get derailed by anybody. Along the way, I found that in my journey, people used to tell me all the time, you're not going to make it, you can't do it, you don't have the guts, or you don't have the grit, and like you just don't have it to make it. And what I found is that as long as you stick to it, as long as you keep going with it, as long as you do what you are supposed to do, you keep going with it, and you make it. And what I found, Kimberly, over time, what was my weakness turned out to be my biggest strength.
Wow.
As time went on, and I kept on working towards what I love doing at every stage of my game, what was my weakness became my biggest strength. And as time goes on, that's what I would say to most people. In terms of following the path.
Right. And I agree with you. I think, and I always talk to people, and it's people need to understand they have a passion. I always hear, I don't have a passion. I don't really know what I want to do. There is something inside of each and every one of us that we know what we want to do, but a lot of it is fear. And, and then, like you said, but once you have that desire to want to even step into what it is you're thinking about doing, and you just keep pushing it and keep pushing it, eventually all those things go away, because you have to have some type of faith and belief in what it is you want to accomplish. And one thing I will say, with your family, to have that type of strength to leave from everything that you knew And to come into a country where you knew nothing, and it's literally starting over. It's like, a newborn child where you're literally crawling every step of the way just to be able to get up and walk before you could run. And here you are, you've taken everything that you've learned and now you've implementing that into your business, and so you've implemented that into others. And you're absolutely right. You just have to keep, going forward, being steadfast, believe in what you're trying to get accomplished, and it will work. And, I love the part where you talked about it, you were awful at everything that you did when you first came out and trying to do business, and it took you like 6 years to figure it out. And that's the thing I think a lot of people need to realize is that, today we're so used to this instant gratification thing we have going on, where now because you can open up a business overnight, because it used to be very hard to go and fill out the paperwork and do it and get a business plan going. And
People are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. The hiring process can be slow and overwhelming. Simplify hiring with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. With over 350 million global monthly visitors according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. That's Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Terms and conditions apply.
And so forth. And now everything is instant. And people assume that they are going to be successful completely overnight because, and not that you can't be, but I think the bigger part of it is about being sustained and being able to maintain what it is that you've accomplished. And so how do you talk to those clientele who come to you and, they have been in business for many years and, they feel that they should be absolutely at a higher level and they're not? Beyond saying, hey, keep holding on in there, what other steps do you provide them to help them get over that bridge, so to speak?
Yeah, so it's one thing to just hang on. And I think that many people tell you, just hang on, you'll make it. Hang on, you'll make it. And what I find is that it's not about hanging on. It's about understanding to make the right strategic moves. So I'll give you an example. In 2004, I had started my own financial planning, organization here locally. And I had literally left PNC Bank. I was managing about $250 million there as an advisor. And I had left that and I had bought a house. And next day after I buying the house, because I didn't want to commute to all the way to BC anymore. And I figured I need to do something. So I left PNC. I started my own company. And in 2004, I went with a strategic move as to who I wanted to target. And at that time, it was boomers and retirees. I was doing regular seminars. I was ahead of the curve. I knew that. I also knew that most of the advisors and banks and insurance agents and so forth wouldn't be after that market just yet. So I decided to target that market. I spent a lot of money doing it for 4 years. And in 2008, when the market hit the fan, and it literally everything just went down completely, I knew that there was also the time that all the boomers had just begun to come into retirement age. So everybody, including banks and advisors, and they were going to get it. They were getting into this game. So what I did was I made a strategic move at that time to stop doing the expensive things and started doing inexpensive things. So one of the things that I did was, I had a little trash can where I took a little letter, I put it in there. I said, I knew you would throw it away, so I did it for you, your local advisor. And I mailed it to local clientele. So that was one small thing that I did. And, now I understand in today's world, you can't do that just because people won't even open the mail,
Right.
So, but that, but that being said, you have to get creative. Like you can't just sit and go, some osmosis will take care of me. It doesn't work that way. You have to push it through, but you have to push it through in a creative way. Like, another things I started doing is I would do I would throw a surprise birthday parties. to my
wow.
wife clients, my clients of my like if it's a husband and wife, I would usually throw a surprise birthday party for whoever's birthday is coming up. And what I would do is I would take them to Olive Gardens. I would sit down with them. Like they didn't know, or the guests would be surprised who I was, and there would be a little surprise for them, for the person who we are surprising, because they didn't know that it was happening. I made it so inexpensive. But Kimberly, I actually tripled my business that year.
Wow.
So you just have to get creative in times like these. Don't think that nobody is doing business. I'm telling you, people are doing business left and right now. Yes, people are suffering. Yes, there's a chaos going on. But I'll give you an example. Like if you invested your money when the market went down just recently, you would have made almost 20% return on your money in less than a week. So it's all about looking for the places where the opportunities are there, and stop looking and listening to all the garbage that you hear over the place.
Yes,
Stop
absolutely.
the noise. It's literally just, and one of the things that I'm blessed in some ways, because being an immigrant, we came from a place where there was nothing to begin with, right? So to us, even if it was ground zero, even if it's $20, it's like, it's more than we got yesterday. We're good to go. But I think the mentality, it needs to be different. You just have to, you have to be compassionate for yourself, for your family, for the loved ones, for the world. But at the same time, you have to be creative. If you are in business, even if you are not in business, my suggestion is get creative. If you don't have creative juices, take some vitamins. I promise you, it will help you think differently. It will help you think better, more clearly. It will help your family get out of the funk. Because a lot of times when we don't think clearly, simply what I found is that it's really, chemical imbalance within yourself.
Wow.
Like it literally is when you talk about imbalance and when you talk about alignment, right? It truly is. It's not. You're misaligned. You just misaligned or misinformed. One of the two.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So the question is, which one is it? And I think that if those business owners, those entrepreneurs, those people who are struggling right now, my friends, listen, I'm telling you out of love, that think differently. Think differently. Get your game on and think in a completely different way, like nobody else has thought about. Like the campaign I ran to do the trash can and do the birthday parties. Before that I spent $300,000 over a 4-year period in marketing. That year, when I chose to do a different type of marketing, I went from $300,000 in 4 years to spending $1,000 in 1 year, and I did triple the amount of business. And market was going crazy; it was just going down. There was no up, back then. So, it's just how you think.
Right, and I agree with that.
You just have to think differently. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it just, but that's my thought process here, and that's what I would have to say. It's like keep trucking, keep trucking with a different intention.
Exactly. I like that word.
Yeah, like a different intention, not the same old intention that I'm just gonna, like if I'm here in my basement right now, and if I go against my wall and just keep banging my head on the wall and think that wall's gonna break, wall's not gonna break, my head's gonna break.
Right, exactly. Yeah, right. You get the same thing. Yeah, you get nothing new out of it. Yes, right. Yeah, and it's really really in a lot of ways what you're talking about is really just investing in yourself and investing in a different way and learning how to market what you have. I think a lot of times people feel they have to spend and try to do all these different things instead of really going back and analyzing what they've done in their business and what did they do when they started the business that got them to where they're at. And how they can continue to take that piece and just recreate it. It's not about reinventing the wheel. It's about recreating what you have. And I agree with you. It's always that constant thinking always having to put that new thinking cap on, that new mindset. And like I said, today, the way things are, you have no choice. You really do have to sit down and think about, how am I going to overcome? But I think the thing that I'm fearful for with most people is that once they come out of this, they won't remember what they went through in order to maintain, going through those rough patches that we're going through now in business. That's where people really need to say, hey, I need to continue this. Don't stop just because you've made it through this. It's about continuing that path so that you can constantly look over, go through the light instead of going around and above it because you don't know what else to do. And I think that's the key with business. So, you're right on point when it comes to being creative and realizing that you have all these little things you have to do. Yes, you want to keep your compassion. You want to do all these other things. But in order to be sustainable, you do have to be creative and innovative in your own right for your business.
Absolutely. And one of the things that people can do, just so you know, like I think those of you who are listening, I want you to take heart, my friends. Listen, I understand that you might be in your darkest hour right now. I understand that you might be in the worst time of your life or what have you. But I'm here to tell you that when this ends, you have to think about it as to what are you going to do? What are you going to do to prepare now so that when this ends, you can come out like a springboard, like a really nice springboard, because it will end. It's just a question of when, whether it's a month, it's 2 months, whenever that is. This is this keeps reminding me, Kimberly, I was thinking about this other day, and this is just like that song, Who Let the Dogs Out? Right? And I think it's gonna be exactly the same, because we are all cooped up in the house. I'm zoomed out. Like I have to do Zoom meetings. I'm completely zoomed out. I find myself talking more than ever before, and I really would just like to go out and interact with people and human beings and give them hugs and give them some love and receive some love and all of that. I would just love that. And right now you can't do that. And I think that when summer hits, here, it is going to be in that way. And the question is, what are you going to do then?
Right.
How are you going to spend your time? Right now, God gave you this gift to spend some time with your family, which you always wanted. I say take that opportunity and spend some time with your family, and don't worry about the daily things. There are a lot of things being worked out. As time is going on, there are things being worked out. Everything will fall into play in the universe just the way it's supposed to be. But you cannot stop doing your part to make it the way you want it to be. And that's what I would say. Like, I really would say to those people who are disheartened, that they should really just, take a deep breath, talk to your family, give them some love, receive some love, have a good time, enjoy yourself, and make sure that you're preparing. So that way, if you're in a bad situation right now, that next time, make a decision that next time you will make sure that you will never be in this kind of situation again. And I believe that would make a huge difference.
Huge difference. You're absolutely right. This is a very important time in our lives where, you can rethink and reanalyze everything. And, and like you said, we complain so much about, I don't have enough time for this and I can't do that. And, and I just want to go home and I don't want to sit here at work. And then guess what happened? The prayers that we've been praying happen. It maybe not the way that we wanted it to happen, but at the end of the day, things happen for a reason. And now that we're here, you have to take those experiences and you live your life to the fullest. And here's the opportunity to sit back and think about, if you want to write a book, write a book. Sit back and think about the fact, if you want to start a business, start a business. Sit back and think about, if you want to go back to school, go to school. There's so many opportunities, and now's the time to do it. And it will help you reanalyze and realign your personal life, your professional life, everything. And I think that, it's even helped me I have been begging for time to just be able to slow down. I mean, as busy as we are, and I'm still busy, but at the end of the day, to not have to get on another plane for a while, I'm ecstatic about it, because I have to travel a lot, because I still work full time and do, my business and stuff on the side. So it's a blessing for me being able to sit at home, because I've only been home for like a week and a half, and I'm just like, yay. So everybody else is like, No, I don't want to be here. I'm like, oh, you have no idea how I love rolling out of my bed and coming down to my office to work, so, it is a blessing. And a lot of times we just have a hard time, like I said earlier, dealing with the gratitude and really being thankful for where we're at in our lives and what we're doing. And like I said, there are definitely many people out there who are suffering, and, our prayers are there for those who are suffering, but please keep your heads up. We realize that this does not last forever, and it's the opportunity for everybody to help those who are definitely in need. Even though with all the fear we have going around, we don't want people starving. We don't want people, feeling that they're lonely, because that loneliness is definitely there for those, who, even if you're in a family and you're overwhelmed, we can still feel lonely. So, now is the time to have to sit down and talk, be expressive, and understand what it is that you need. And we can hopefully all come together in a way that we can help those who are definitely in need. So, this has definitely been an eye-opening interview with you, Ash. You have been amazing, and the information that you're sharing, I love it, because you definitely can understand. You come from that place, and then here you have arrived in your own right, and you've worked hard to get that. But the way that you share and express your love to people, that's the most important part of your business. And I definitely appreciate you, coming on tonight and sharing all this golden nuggets with us this evening.
Absolutely, and I want to thank you, Kimberly, for really interviewing me and just taking the time to letting me be on the show. I truly appreciate it, and I want to thank the listeners. I want you guys to know that we both love you very much, and we really care about you, and we want you to do well. And at the end of the day, my friends, if you ever want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me on you can find me if you look at ashescash.com or something, ashescash.com, my website, and you can always find me. My phone number is there, my email is there, whatever you want to do. But all I will say is that we truly love you, and we want you to do well, and we want you to prosper, and we really want to make sure that you and your family are taken care of. And I will put out a prayer for all of you who are listening, including Kimberly, to the universe, to the gods, to the whoever you believe spiritually, may all the spiritual beings, and we will call, or I will call all the spiritual beings and say, hey, spiritual beings, please come in today in this show and give everybody who is listening, blessings from the sky, and give them whatever they wish for. And that is my wish as of today. So I want to say thank you, Kimberly, for having me. I really appreciate you.
You are very welcome, and I appreciate you coming on my show tonight, like I said, and spreading your love and, providing all this wonderful information, because it's very important in your prayers. And, for everyone else, like I said, times are kind of tough for some people. It's kind of tough for all of us, and we know we are dealing with this in our own ways. But at the end of the day, we're still here. So look at that as a blessing, take it all in. And like Ash said, if you have any questions for him, you are more than welcome to reach out to him. He is, like I said, the owner of Financial Chakras. You can find him on all social media platforms. You can also go to his website at www.ashshukla.com. And the last name is Shukla. So first name is Ash, Shukla.com. So you can reach out to him at any time. And, if you need help with financially, businesses, he can help you with your small business to get you where you need to be. And if you just need a friend to talk to, he's going to be there for you. And the same thing for me. If you need to reach out to me, you're more than welcome to find me at Kimberly at WSBILLC.com. I'm also on all social media platforms through the Women's Small Business Initiative, LLC. So don't sit back and think that you're alone. We're here for you. And also, if you just want to listen into the show, hey, I'm here every Thursday night at 7 p.m. We're on iHeartRadio and Spotify, and we are on several other platforms. So there's no reason why you can't listen in and learn something. Realize that we're here wrapping our arms around you as well on this evening. But until next time, you all have a wonderful evening and good night.
Good night, everyone. We will be back next Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Follow us on Spreaker, www.spreaker.com/user/WSBI. View our new WSBI website anytime at www.wsbillc.com and on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram.
People are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. The hiring process can be slow and overwhelming. Simplify hiring with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. With over 350 million global monthly visitors according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. That's Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Terms and conditions apply.